Hey everybody, it's Christine Parma. I am happy to be talking with you guys live in the Motherhood on Purpose Facebook group because I am one of the speakers in the summit. So I just wanted to pop in and talk to you guys. I'm going to refresh real quick so I can see anybody who comes on with comments. I wanted to pop in and talk with you guys about overwhelm. Are you feeling overwhelmed? You know, I have a sneaking suspicion if you join the Motherhood on Purpose Summit and you're part of this group, that overwhelm might, sneak into your life every so often. So, I'm all about bringing practical strategies, mindset tweaks so that you can be, kick overwhelm to the curb and have an amazing life and an amazing business that you love. So I want to share with you guys some practical strategies for how to do that. And again, I said I'm Christine Parma. I'm one of the speakers here in the summit. I think my interview is on May 6th, if I remember correctly. It's Saturday, May 6th. And you can find out more about me at christineparma.com if you want to learn about how I help ambitious mamas create profitable businesses without working 24/7 or sacrificing all the things in their lives that matter most to them. So if you have any questions or comments, if you happen to be watching this live, or even on the replay, if you want to type them in the comment section below, I am happy to answer those here for you live or after the replay if you have a thought you'd like to share, a question you'd like to ask. So let's dive in. I think one of the biggest mistakes that I see people making, and the reason they get feeling overwhelmed, is that, well, one, they heap too much on their plate. There's a saying that we can we usually overestimate what we can get done in a day and underestimate what we can get done in a year. And I heard this quote again recently, and I thought, that is really appropriate. Hi, Elaine. Thanks for hopping on. That's really appropriate especially to moms. Moms who, wearing all these different hats, who are juggling 1,000 balls. And then if you are a mama entrepreneur also, mompreneur, mama CEO, whatever, term you want to use, then you're throwing even more into the mix. And a lot of times, I think the temptation is, we kind of get in this go-getter attitude and we make this huge, long to-do list that feels like this huge mountain, we're buried under it. And I think we set ourselves up sometimes for failure by putting too much on our to-do list. So one of the first steps, to kicking overwhelm to the curb in a really kind of a permanent, ongoing way, is to make sure that what you put on your to-do list and what you schedule in to your day, and I guess even your schedule for your week and your month, that you put in the priority things first. What are your non-negotiables? What are you not? What is so important to you? What is so aligned with your values, with who you want to show up as in the world? How the business things, if you have a business, the things that you are really moving the needle in your business and pushing you forward. What are those non-negotiables that you need to get done every single day or every single week? And put them in your calendar first. Now, I know you have heard this concept before. It's also called the big rocks. I think Stephen Covey was the first one who talked about this. You schedule the big rocks into your calendar first. But how many of you are doing it? Are you doing it? Are you doing it, Elaine? Since I can see that you're on the broadcast. Are you scheduling in your non-negotiables? Because what happens otherwise? We get so busy that maybe taking your kids out to a special treat or a special dinner or a special park was something you really, really wanted to do, and then it doesn't happen. Or, doing a live stream, putting yourself out there marketing and promotion-wise was one of your big rocks, and you didn't schedule it in, so it didn't get done. I put this broadcast on my schedule. I checked with Mara about doing it first, and she said, cool, bring value to the group. And then I put it on my calendar to make sure it would happen. So schedule in your non-negotiables first. What is most important to you that you want to get done every day, every week, every month, every year. Put it in your calendar. What doesn't get scheduled doesn't get done. I know you've heard that too. So this is good. That first step is kind of a reminder to actually get into action and do that. The second step is, once you have scheduled in your non-negotiables, we all have 24 hours in a day. Look at what time is left over. Realistically, block off things like sleep. Sometimes as moms, we're like, well, if I have to steal an hour from someplace, it comes out of the sleep category. I'm guilty of that too sometimes. I will admit that I'm guilty of that. But doing that too often will result in you burning out, crashing, getting sick, and then when you were trying to be super productive by cramming more into your day, you end up being less productive and feeling like junk, right? Because you're sick and you're burned out and you're tired and you're snapping at the kids. And it is definitely not doing motherhood on balance, right? So look at what's the hours that are left in your day, or left in your week. And then really strategically think, okay, what gets to take up this time? Again, going back to what is important to you, what's aligned with your values. Are there things that you're doing that you don't want to be doing anymore, but maybe you feel guilty and you're doing them, like being the PTA president, or being the classroom mom, at your kids' school, or all these little ways that we say yes to things that we really don't want to say yes to. When it would be serving yourself and the other people that you're saying yes to, so much better if you actually said no with integrity. Say it with grace, with integrity, with heart. Say, oh my gosh, that sounds like such a great opportunity. I know it's going to be wonderful, and I just don't, I think I have the time right now to dedicate to your awesome project in a way that would really serve you. But thank you so much for asking me. You can do it you can say no with grace. You can say no to people with grace. You can say no to projects with grace. And the truth is, you have to say no to the things that are not truly in alignment with your values. About parenting, about how you live your life, about how you want your business to be. Your business, if you have a business and your mom, your business is an expression of you. It is a part of you. It's your biz baby, right? So you have to say no to things that are not in alignment with your values in order to have the space, the creative space and the energy and the time to say yes to the things that are. So, as I'm sure you've deducted by now, I am in business for myself. So I am a mama CEO, and I have to say no to things all the time. And I make it a conscious choice, and I think about, where do I want to invest my time? Time is the most valuable resource we have because it's really, truly the only thing that's limited. You can always make more money. You can't make more time. I know it doesn't feel like that sometimes, but that's the truth. So, really the second step is looking at how much time is left. And then, again, going back through and saying, okay, what do I want to put in first? And I would even subtract 7 hours from the week, 1 hour a day, because you need some cushion. I have tried the schedule your day in 15-minute increments things. Sorry, does not work for me. I have tried it. I have tried lots of these productivity, hacks, and they didn't work for me. I had to come up with my own that worked, and this is really kind of part of what I'm sharing with you, is how to get more done in less time, but the things that you're getting done are in alignment with what is truly important to you, and that you're not cramming your schedule full to the very brim so that you feel stressed out, overwhelmed, and burned out, at the end. Thank you for the like. Thank you so much. So that's part of what I'm sharing with you, is how to be more balanced, have a more balanced approach to making time for your business and your babies, if that's where you are, making more time for the things that are truly important to you, and making time for yourself, right? You can't forget the self-care. Hi, Mara. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be here. So step 3, if you're in business for yourself, This is a big one. You have to consciously decide what your work hours are. Because, and I speak from experience on this, if you don't make a conscious decision, and this is again going back to the big rocks, the priorities, scheduling in your non-negotiables, if you don't decide what your work hours are, your work hours will bleed into everything else. They'll sneak in. So for me, it was a hard stop for me on my work hours when my kids come home from school. So from the time my kids come home from school, which is around 3 p.m., to all the way through bedtime, that time is dedicated to my kids. So I can feel like, I spend time with them. I feel like I'm being a great mom. I feel, have fun with them. I feel great about what we're doing together. So that is a non-negotiable for me, is to spend time with them. Very, very rarely, when kids get sick and all sorts of, crazy stuff can happen, very rarely will anything encroach on that time, because that is a non-negotiable. So my work hours default to when they go to school to when they come home from school. And then sometimes, because I'm on a very different time zone than a lot of people, in the U.S., I'm actually in Vietnam. Hello from Asia. We just moved here about 8 months ago, so throw into the motherhood balance, and being a mompreneur, an expat mompreneur. I will take, some client calls and that sort of thing in the evening, simply to accommodate, be able to still have that connection with people in the United States. So I have outlined what my work hours are, so they don't bleed too much into everything. So you really have to make a decision. And I know some of the moms in this group, who are going to watch this on the replay, you're squeezing in your business hours into nap times, into waking up before the baby wakes up, into, the couple hours your kids at preschool, in nighttime hours. And instead of, I want to bring awareness to make it intentional, your work times, even if that's what you're doing, if you're squeezing it into nap times and, pre-baby wake-up sessions. Make it intentional, make an intentional decision, because what can happen is you'll find yourself, and you see moms doing this sometimes, and this is a big source of mom guilt, is you get on your phone. You're supposed to be, quote, supposed to be spending time with your kids. That's your big rock time of spending time with your kids, and you're on your phone. You're checking your emails, you're on Facebook, you're, trying to work on your phone when you're not present with your kid. And a lot of times your kid will remind you, if they're old enough, they'll say, "Mommy, can you please put down your phone?" Or they'll ask to play on it. If they're obsessed with video games, they've gotten to that age, like my kids are getting to that age. Too much technology. But, then you'll feel like, oh, I didn't really spend time with my child, and oh, I feel guilty about that, and I really didn't get work done. So use these steps that I'm sharing with you today to set up a schedule that works for you, and to be more productive in the time that you are working, so that you can feel great about what you're getting done in your business, and feel great about how you're parenting and being present with your kids. So part of that, and the fourth step I want to share with you, is pruning. Pruning your to-do list. Because we overestimate how much we can get done in a day. And it still happens to me. Because if you're ambitious and there is a lot you want to get done, or you just feel like there's a lot to get done, we stack a whole bunch on our to-do list, and that sets us up for feeling like a failure, frankly, like we didn't get the to-do list done. You're like, oh my God, there's still so much left to do. I'm feeling overwhelmed, and I'm freaking out. And so you've got to prune your to-do list. Go back to the previous steps of looking at what's truly important to you, and what's in alignment with your values, and what you want to create in your life and your business. Mara says, that's so hard, mom guilt. Such a great tip. Thank you. Yeah, the mom guilt. And so these tips and strategies I'm sharing with you here are really around, kicking Overwhelm to the curb, but also the mom guilt, because it's when we try to, I think, do too much in our lives and cram it so full that a lot of times the mom guilt comes in. That's when mom guilt can happen. And, I think also, if you're in business for yourself, when it's your work time, whenever your designated work time is, that you choose, you protect that. There are boundaries around that. and you decide, I am not going to have mom guilt around doing something for me. I'm not going to have mom guilt around doing the work that I feel compelled to do to express my creativity and my gift in the world. I'm not going to have mom guilt around that. And it makes it a lot easier to decide, consciously choose not to feel guilty, and then end up like actually not feeling guilty when you schedule in dedicated time with your kids and you are 100% present with them. You know, then it's a lot easier to feel like, okay, I'm doing the mom thing, great, and I'm also doing the business part, great too. And I'm attending to both of my little babies, my biz baby and my real babies, you know, as much as humanly possible, and I can feel good about the job I'm doing in both. So pruning your to-do list. Go back through your to-do list and look at the things, what can you delete? What do you not have to do anymore? Truly, are there things that you just are not really important that are still sitting on your to-do list? And what can you delegate? You know, one of the first steps that I took to getting some relief and some respite from the overwhelm was starting to delegate tasks. Start with a house cleaner. You know, if you're a mom and you can all squeeze it into your budget, and there are creative ways to make it work, you know, start with house cleaner, start with babysitting, do a trade-off with another mom in your neighborhood where you take her baby, you know, for a few hours and your kids get to play together, and she takes your kids, you know, another time, and you get to dedicate that to working or actually doing something for yourself, you know, amazing, recharging yourself. So there are creative ways to, if you can't even, you know, quote, afford to pay $15, $10 an hour for somebody, that you can do it. And the other thing I want to challenge you on, if you're thinking you can't afford to delegate or to hire a team member for your business to help you out, there's a whole process that I walk my clients through, but when you look at what your income goal is for the year, I'm just going to give you a quick example, and I promise you the math is about right. If you wanted to earn $100,000 a year in your business, what that comes down to is each hour you need to be producing or, you know, earning $38 an hour. So if you look at the activities and where you're spending your time, if you could delegate that to somebody else for less than $38 an hour and spend that, say, 1 hour you get back on an activity that will help you produce at least $38, like selling, you know, signing up a client into your signature program, signing somebody up for your course, promoting yourself so you sell more of your widgets, you know, or your things on Etsy, whatever it is, then that is a good return on your investment. That's how you have to be looking at your business. I'm a former certified financial planner. So when you are, really, I need to drive this home, when you are looking at investing your time, you know, your time is money. If you're in business for yourself, then you've got to approach it from a return on investment standpoint. That perspective shift alone has been what has allowed me, you know, what freed me up from the fear of outsourcing, you know, hiring other people to help me. A housekeeper babysitter actually was one of the first things I did for a certain amount of time, especially when we were trying to move overseas, you know, and I had my business and I had my kids. My gosh, you know, need a babysitter, housekeeper a couple times a week. Amazing the amount of time that it helps free up, and I'm giving her employment, and she enjoys what she does, so it's a win-win. And I'm in the process of hiring some more team members for my business, you know, in the form of virtual assistants, so that I can focus more on doing things like this that I do have to do myself because I am my own brand. Hi, Sarah Jane, good to see you. And then I can outsource and delegate to the other people the things that they can do really well and that I don't have to do myself. So you have to prune your to-do list. Prune your to-do list, delete things that don't really need to be done, and delegate other things that do need to be done, and then look at how much time have you freed up. You know, how much have you gotten rid of off your to-do list? That alone will help you get out of the overwhelm. You know, if you're feeling overwhelmed by this giant to-do list and all the things you have to be doing as a mom, as an entrepreneur, if you have your own business, as a wife, you know, as all these other roles that you've taken on, all these other hats that you're wearing. Stop wearing so many hats. Stop wearing so many hats. Just do it. And you will have so much more time for the things that truly matter to you. And that's what it's about. It's about having time and the energy and actually being present with the things that truly matter to you so that you can feel happy, that you can be joyous in your life and in your business. The last step really is, once you have that pruned down to-do list, prioritize. You've got to prioritize the activities that are absolutely like urgent. Like if you have a doctor's appointment or something, thank you for the that it really has to be done. You've got to do that. But you know, from a business aspect, prioritize how you spend your time and what you're doing, so that you're spending your time on the things that actually make a big difference in your business. That actually, if you're not in business for yourself, the things that actually make a big difference in how happy you feel about your life, you know, how balanced you feel. If going for a walk in nature for an hour a week, you know, is what makes you feel recharged, schedule it in. It's a priority. You know, that's a priority activity, so that you can have the energy to do all of the other things that you're doing. You know, if you need to get a massage, if you need to, marketing promotion, if you're in business for yourself, doing Facebook live streams, you know, whatever marketing and promotion channel that you're choosing to do, that you're doing it, that you make time for it. So prioritize. I do have a resource if you're in business for yourself on the priority activities you should be focusing your time on if you're in business for yourself and you want to, make, say, $100,000 a year. If you want to grab that, just message me below. I just want to be cognizant of, not being promo-y or something, and, spam me in this group. But I have that checklist available. I'm happy to send it to you. And then I just encourage you to, if you need to rewatch this video, rewatch it. Get all the 5 steps that, the details on the 5 steps that I've shared with you. I'll recap real quickly. Hi, Monica. Good to see you. Number 1 is, to get out of overwhelm and kick mom guilt to the curb at the same time, is schedule in your non-negotiables into your schedule so that you're actually making time and doing the things that are in alignment with your values, and you can feel great about that. Number 2 is look at the time that's left over, after you schedule in those non-negotiables. Subtract an hour a day, at least an hour a day, because you need some cushion in there. And really look at the time that's left in your schedule and think about how you want to invest that time. It's an investment you're making. Number 3 is decide on your work hours if you're in business for yourself, or even if you're just doing something creative. Set your work hours so that it doesn't bleed into everything else, and then you can kind of easily slip down into guilt, and that you can actually be present with your kids when you're spending time with your kids or your husband or your partner, whoever it is, and make time for yourself. So decide on your work hours consciously. Number 4 is look at your to-do list and prune it. Take some big scissors to your to-do list and prune it. Get rid of the things that you said yes to that really you don't want to be doing anymore. Get rid of the things that, I was cleaning the house every day. It's okay if I clean the house every 3rd day. It's not going to be, the end of the world. Relieve yourself of all of these things you think you should be doing that you don't actually need to be doing. And then look at what can you delegate to other people? Where could other people help you out to create the space and the time and the energetic freedom so that you can get out of that overwhelm and feel good about the place you're in. And number 5 is the things that are left on your to-do list that made the final cut, prioritize them. In the personal column, prioritize them according to what's most important to you. Where do you want to spend your time? In the business column, prioritize them according to what's actually going to move the needle in your business. You know, if you're ever at a loss of what's the next right step for me, think, what is the one thing I can do next that will make the biggest difference? You could say that for your life or make the biggest difference in your business. What is the one thing I could do? If I could only do one thing today, what would it be? So those are the steps that I have for you. Again, I am Christine Parma. My interview for this awesome summit that Mara has and her friend put together is on May 6th, I believe. Mara, correct me in the comments if that's wrong, but I believe it's on May 6th. I am so excited to connect with you guys, and I welcome your comments and questions below in the comment section, and I will definitely, if you leave a question there, I will pop back on and answer it personally for you. And if you want to connect with me and learn more about who I am and how I help ambitious mamas build profitable businesses without sacrificing what matters to them, you can find me at christineparma.com. Oh, and if you want the business checklist of where you should be focusing your time, just message me below and I'll make sure you get that. So I wish everybody an amazing rest of your evening if you're in the United States, daytime for me, and I wish you amazing success in your business and life, and I look forward to seeing you guys more in this group. So take care. Bye-bye.